Plains has been bragging about what good stewards they are in our community. They spend X amount of thousands of dollars in Mobile Press, what we've got left of Mobile Press, every Sunday about, how they're concerned with our community and how good safety record they have and what kind of good stewards they are and everything else.
You mean they're buying advertising in the local newspaper?
Oh, yeah, full
Right.
page.
Full page.
Full page ads.
Full page ad.
Many times.
Yeah, every Sunday for the last probably 3-4 months, up until probably about 3 weeks ago. Anyhow, I said, this pipeline that runs north of the lake here, right over there, north of the lake? Well, she said, yeah, I've heard him talk about that. And I said, you've heard Plains say that pipeline has been in existence 60 years, and we, quote, we have never had a problem with that pipeline. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's a lie.
Is that what you want to talk to me about? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, Amarada Hess owned that line for several years, and now Plains is getting all the accolades of the safety aspect of that pipeline. Now Plains, as I understand it, has only had that line for a few years, and they're using somebody else's safety background to usurp that safety situation as their own. And to me, that's ridiculous. To me, that should be against the law, telling the citizens of this community how great they are in their safety. It just so happens that there was an advertisement in the paper yesterday put out by Tar Sands Oil, the group of Tar Sands Oil right here, and it says, although we believe that our efforts to enhance our leak prevention and detection capabilities have produced positive results, we have experienced, quote, in parentheses, and likely will experience future releases of hydrocarbon products into the environment from our pipeline and storage operations. These releases can result from unpredictable man-made or natural causes and may reach navigable water or other sensitive environments. Now, the source of this was Plains All-American Pipeline homepage selects 2012-10 part 1, page 58. Now, by its own admission, they are going to release something in our area from their pipeline, by their own admission. Now,
that's their warning potential investors.
Correct.
About possible risks to their investments, so that they can protect themselves against future liability
You're
claims.
exactly right. You're
That's
exactly right. And all they'll have to say is say, look on page 58 of 2012-1, . So anyhow, they've made that public knowledge. So I found a pipeline out of the ground, probably less than a half a mile of the inception of the lake on the north end, to the right side of the bridge as you're coming my way.
Out of the ground, you mean the surface has been eroded away from it?
It crosses a creek and it's been eroded away from it. Now it's got a what looks to be a cement coating on that pipe, but that pipeline crosses the creek, and it's probably from the bank. The bank is eroded, of course, where the creek goes down. From the bank to the pipeline is probably 10 feet. Now, from the pipeline, the whole pipe is out of the conception of the job, on the startup of the job. And they could not get anything, well, I'm not going to say anything. They was having real problems with welding of the pipe, with the fabrication and the welding of the pipe. He said they would start welding the pipe and then it would blow out on them. They'd have to stop, gouge that out, grind it out, start anew and start again, and then it would blow out on them again.
So, to your knowledge, they're still using this Korean pipe that they got that was bad.
The Korean pipe is in the ground right now.
Yeah. Does that indicate impurities in the steel?
Yes, that's what it indicates. Now, they had to call a man, I don't know where he came from. Well, oh yes I do. They had to call him out of Kansas to come here in order to try. They tried everything they could. They called Lincoln Welding Company in on the job. They took all the rods that they were using on the job out. They brought new rods in, a different criteria and different specs of the rod. Same thing happened. They brought a new man in to find out what was going on. It took him about a week and a half to find out what was really going on, and he had to degauss every piece of pipe that they put in the ground.
So the problem was not the rods, it was the pipe.
Magnetized, and debris in the pipe.
So every section of pipe, they had to come redo both ends?
They had to redo the wells. Right.
And it worked this time because the man from Kansas knew how to do it?
When they degaussed the rods, when they degaussed the product, which would be the pipe, they got it to working. Now,
Degaussed, now what does that mean?
Demagnetized. What he had to do was hook the positive end of the welding machine, the cable, the positive end, and the negative end of the cable on the pipe, and let it sit there and heat up and get that magnification out of that magnetism out of there. Now,
Because they had said they were going to bring in different pipe or something.
the pipe was already in the pipe is in the ground. They
But-
welded it; it was in the ground.
They haven't
Now
taken it out.
they probably used different pipe on this thicker wall pipe that they're putting. They're supposed to put that pipe in 132 feet.
So this is, they had, I reported that they said that they were going to have to take that, redo that pipe. But you're telling me they found a guy from Kansas that knew how to do it and fix it.
Well, they redid it in the sense of improving the wells, but they did not change the pipe. That's-
Correct.
Right. So now, but now we've got new pipe going in to the
Right.
section that's actually going under the
Correct.
creek.
Right. but
Do we know if
only-
that, do we
only
know
there-
if that is the Korean pipe or is
We
that?
don't know that.
Okay.
We don't know if that's
Only-
Korean pipe or
only
not.
that
All
is-
we know is it's 500 thickness wall,
Okay.
Right.
0.500.
But this-
So we can ask about that. That's, I
Correct.
just wanted to
This
nail that
thicker
down.
pipe, but a lot of the rest of the pipe he's talking about, the thinner pipe with the bad welds, is in the ground in the watershed.
Correct.
It's just not as close to the inlet
Correct.
as the pipe that's going in now.
Now.
thicker,
Correct.
But it's still in the watershed that
Correct.
feeds Big Creek Lake.
Right. Because see, they've already gone under Hamilton Creek. We lived adjacent to a pipeline. And this pipeline is running directly parallel right next to the electrical line, the power line.
Yeah,
The public utility lines. Yeah.
Public, well,
Alabama Power.
Alabama Power, correct. It's matter of
It's in
fact,
there,
it's,
part of
it
it's,
is
much of it's
In the right of way.
adjacent to.
Because that was, convenient to acquire.
Exactly. Now, I talked to a young man over here the other day that says anything that's put into, next to, or crosses under a power line will have to be grounded because of electrolysis. That could be something that you could get a study on that situation, it being right there next to that power line.
Yeah.
And that, it cause and effect. You know, it could definitely be the effect of that thing eating up that pipe, you know, without a doubt.
And then the pipe could fail, and then there could be a spill, and
Sure.
people be affected. And so forth.
Correct.
Closest to the lake on the water board property they just acquired, under this agreement, it's going to be 90 feet drilled rather than trenched.
Well,
Under-
they
under
told
the
me,
stream.
the man that came in again, the one they sent in to find out what was going on with the pipe, he is on the job in Africa Town now. Because he's a troubleshooter, and he's over there in Africa Town now. He told me when he first came back, he went to the job in the Big Creek Lake watershed. He told me, I said, well, I understand they're gonna put that pipe 100 feet underground. He said, they're gonna put the pipe 132 feet underground, and they're gonna use 500 wall thickness pipe. I said, well, that's better than what was going on to begin with. And the other part of that is, at the dam, when it goes out, that's called Big Creek, and it goes down through Mississippi. They have crossed Big Creek or the adjacent to Big Creek 3 times,
Right, and they cross the Escatawpa
which is
twice.
going to the Escatawpa, and they cross the Escatawpa twice, I believe,
Yeah,
and is then going to the Gulf.
Yeah.
Go to Pascagoula River and then go to the Gulf. Now, you know, a lot of factors there, you know, and I don't know what the answer is going to be. You know, it just, And I knew Moss was gonna cave, I knew that, because I've dealt with them before. Only reason that they'll get involved is the money factor. That is the only reason. When the Escatawba River was compromised with AlDOT building the new road, nobody sued them. Baywatch got on board. Moss sued them. They got $1.4 million, and Baywatch got something like 400,000, I believe, for the study of the causeway. The total was 1.4, and they got one from the AlDOT, then they got 4 from Newell Construction, and that's the only reason they'll get involved. And to give